I'm absolutely business on the top, party on the bottom. If you expect me to sit here and have a chat for half an hour while we're wearing jeans, you've got another thing coming, my friend. I now strictly exist in leggings, and I'm kind of dreading the day that we all have to start wearing proper clothes again. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing really well. I feel quite far away from you today, but I mean, social distancing, it's got to this point where it has to be done through a camera as well now. I'm kidding, I just want to lean. I just want to lean back. I want to support my lower back in my old age. And I think we've all learned this year that the true meaning of life is actually comfort. Just stay comfy at all times. People that say don't get comfortable, step out your comfort zone, they're wrong. Remain comfortable at all times. It's been a little while since I kind of did a sat down, nice background, look how pretty my house is. What you can't see is the absolute bomb site on the other side of the camera. So I thought today we'd just keep it nice and simple. I'm all about a little coffee break together. Let's hang out for 20 minutes. Let's put the world to rights. We'll have a good catch up. And I passed the ball over and asked on Instagram if there was anything that you guys would like to ask me or that you would like me to have a chat about. And I got loads of really nice replies. So we're gonna keep it bright. We're gonna keep it breezy. We're gonna keep it easy. We're gonna keep it sleazy. Into my cup of tea. Doesn't get much more sleazy than a cup of jam tea. It always really makes me smile when I ask for like questions and stuff on Instagram because you guys are so nice to me. I could literally shed a tear every day about it. Sometimes do. A lot of people just ask like, how are you doing right now? How are you? How's things? And the answer is, yeah, I'm alright. You know, been better, but could also be a lot worse. So just kind of cruising along, a solid 5 out of 10. I say that. That's like the general overview, I guess. More recently though, last week, the news cycle over the past week or so has been incredibly difficult. And I actually had to take myself, like, I had to kind of cut myself off my phone for a couple of days because I was falling into this like really quite dark place of, I think they call it doom scrolling these days, don't they? It's kind of like the quippy little title that it's got, where you're just searching to go deeper and deeper into this bad news, and it almost like becomes a little bit of an addiction to keep following this really heavy, dark, awful bad news all the time. It's definitely brought up a lot of memories that I'd kind of really squashed down and I've never particularly dealt with before, and I don't need to explain it or go into any more detail than that because I think 98% of people who watch these videos on my channel are women, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been there. We've all been there this week. It's been a hard one, but the reason that I do bring it up is because I wanted it to be a little bit of a reminder that if you are feeling the same, really try and check in with yourself and remind yourself that you don't need to be scrolling the news on Twitter every 30 seconds. Obviously it's important to take in the news and to notice the news and question the news and all that kind of stuff, but you don't have to live in the news. You have got to step away from it every so often. Check out of the world a bit and check in with yourself a little bit, and hopefully that will help slightly. But other than that, I'm great. I got a lot of questions asking about travel and like if we've made any travel plans and are we hoping to travel this year, maybe next year, where are we hoping to go and stuff like that. I think that's a really nice thing to chat about at the moment, the idea of travel being almost tangible. I feel like it's not quite tangible yet. I personally don't feel confident enough in the progress of things to be booking anything yet, but I totally understand why people are, because that need to just have something to look forward to is so real, and I really feel that too. Like, we've been close. My fingers have kind of hovered over the button a couple of times for booking something, but we keep having this conversation, like when we go for a walk and stuff, the question that I literally always ask Adam is like, where should we go? Where should we go when this is all fine? I think for us, top of the list is actually New York. We've never been to New York together. We've been to New York separately. I went when I was like 21 with my friends, and then a couple of years later, actually not long after I just met Adam, I went on a work trip to New York, which I did actually vlog, so if you've been around here for a really long time you might remember me going to New York at that point. But yeah, we'd never been together, so that is somewhere that we would really like to go and do like a few days in New York. That would be amazing. So I think that's top of our list, but honestly all I want to do is go to the Wirral. Literally, it's like the most pathetic request of all time. It's like, please can I go to this peninsula in northwest UK? But I mean, it's now over a year since I've spent any time with my family, with my mum, with my brother, and it almost, like, when I speak to my mum now, she's like, it almost feels like you don't exist anymore. I'm like, cheers mum, great, thanks. I've just never gone this long without being on the Wirral. So honestly, that's top of my list, and it's still really unclear like as to when that might even be an option. I'm just holding out to be able to get on a train to Liverpool. Leave the Maldives, leave Barbados. I don't want to go anywhere other than the Wirral. Get me to Lime Street. Lots of questions about the house, which was really nice to see, because obviously with the bathroom coming up and stuff, there is going to be quite a bit of home content coming up. There's not a lot else going on in my life right now. So it's nice to see that people are actually interested, and I'm not just talking about bathroom tiles and everyone's like, oh my god, shut up, don't care. What's next on your home reno list? By the time the bathroom is done, we'll be focusing on the garden, I think. Hopefully by that point the weather will be nice enough for us to be focusing on the garden. We've got a couple of nice plans for the garden. Adam wants to do like a herb corner and grow his own herbs and stuff, so that'll be nice. We really want to paint the shed a really fun colour. I haven't decided what colour yet. Maybe like a pastel green, like a minty kind of green. I don't know. Let me know. What colour should I paint the shed? I know the golden rule of YouTube is exciting engagement purposes. It's exciting engagement, entertainment. So tell me what colour to paint my shed. But aside from the garden, because that probably doesn't really count and it's probably quite boring, we're going to do the hallway because that is really grubby and grotty. And that's the last of the grubby grotty yellow paint then. So we're going to paint the hallway. We really want to re-carpet the stairs. That carpet needs to go ASAP. So I think next will be the hallway, because that shouldn't be too expensive a job. I'm saying that, I bet carpet is like £10 million. Bathroom, garden, hallway, kitchen. And then, oh, we need a new front door, because I did a lovely like homemade wreath over Christmas. I did like a gorgeous homemade wreath, put it on our white front door, and all of the green dye from the moss that I'd used as a base turned out it was dyed with very bright green dye, which all ran over our entire front door, ruined the door, doesn't come out. And now it looks like the Grinch lives here. So Adam was really thrilled about that one. Adam really said to me, your crafts bring so much joy to this house. Please keep crafting. It's not like you're filling up the house with nonsense and ruining every part of the house with your terrible crafts. Like, please do more. So this was actually a really unexpected question. And it's something that suddenly like made me kind of realise that when I make videos, like I feel like everyone who watches me has watched me since I started making videos when I was like 20, but that's not the case at all. Like obviously people like come and go when you make YouTube videos. People tune in for a certain chapter of your life and then decide you're really boring and irrelevant to them now and they leave. People find you through different avenues and kind of tap in for a little while and then tap back out. And I forget that all the time. So this question, fairly new follower question, what got you into this influencer stuff? What's your story? I'm 30 next month. God damn. I came down to London for university when I was 18. Dropped out the first year, didn't go to plan, came back and did an English lit degree. While I was at uni doing my English degree, I did a ton of work experience and unpaid internships and all that lovely, terrible stuff. I did a load of that with magazines and newspapers and websites in my spare time, but also the time that I should have been doing my uni work. Did a load of that until I finally landed some paid work for a teen website. That was called Sugarscape. I got a fixed job with them. Didn't last long, got made redundant just before Christmas. That was a great time. But after getting made redundant from that, I decided to go out freelance, like fully, and write for lots of different places at one time. As I was doing my freelance writing, I was also kind of growing at the same time on my social media platforms, and that's a lot better paid. So I've just basically transitioned from one into the other now. They kind of go hand in hand, I guess. The writing is a kind of storytelling. I guess like vlogging and stuff is a kind of storytelling. I don't know what the longevity of this kind of thing is. So I keep my writing ticking along. I tend to keep that quite private. I also run a small shop now, so I have lots of different kind of areas that I consider to be like my job, my work. I have a few different jobs. The joy of working for yourself and the joy of freelancing and doing lots of different things means that you create the job that you want and love, basically. So yeah, I'm just constantly trying new things, dipping my fingers into various pies, and seeing what works and what doesn't really. Where the hell to start with interior design? I would not consider what we have done to this house to be I mean, I suppose it is interior design, but to me it's more like home design. Interior design is what you like go to college to study, and it's an art, and I quite clearly know nothing about stuff like that. What I do enjoy is designing as a home and like designing a space that we find appealing and comforting. So if you're talking about that more kind of like day-to-day designing your home, honestly, social media. Once you start scrolling through Pinterest and Instagram, it's amazing how much more clearly you can like piece the big picture together of things you like, things you don't like, finding homes that are similar shapes and sizes to yours, which is really helpful to kind of get some inspo of how to use the space. But I think the like golden rule that I have learned and that I've mentioned on here a few times is that just because you like something on Pinterest and it looks amazing on Instagram, it's not necessarily going to translate onto your own home. So it's all about, like, I think Pinterest and Instagram is the place to hit for your ideas, then kind of creating your mood boards and seeing like how it all fits together, and then being really, really patient and flexible in how that's then gonna turn into your house. And then when it comes to actually doing it, I would say a good place to start is the bedroom. That's like the first room that we turned into our own, because that's just really lovely to have that little sanctuary. The rest of the house can be an absolute shit hot tip, but if you've got a really nice bedroom that you can relax in at the end of the day, it feels a little bit more like a sanctuary. Please talk anything about books. Someone also asked, what are you reading at the moment? Someone also asked, which I thought was a really nice question, what are you excited to read? So in terms of what I have been reading, I am just coming to the end of Wuthering Heights, Emily Bronte. Something I've never read before. I don't really know how it's escaped my my reading list, but I've really, really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure if I was going to or not, because it's been a while since I've read anything that kind of like staple classic. Obviously I loved Little Women and I read Little Women and devoured it, but Wuthering Heights is a very different kind of vibe. But I've really enjoyed it. Every single character is completely crackers. When I was at school we did Pride and Prejudice, and I know Pride and Prejudice really well obviously because we studied it. And when you study that kind of classic at school, you pick it to the bare bones. You take off every single scrap that you possibly can. But because I completely avoided Wuthering Heights somehow, I've just been able to really enjoy it, which has been a really lovely reading experience. So that's been nice. But the one that I am really, really looking forward to reading, I don't think it's actually out yet. I want to say it's out in May. It's the new book from Taylor Jenkins Reid, who is one of my favourite authors. So she's the author of Daisy Jones and the Six, which I really enjoyed, but she's also the author of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is just one of the best books I've ever read. So she's got this new book coming out in May, and I just can't wait to read it. I'm so excited. This is quite interesting because it's something that I haven't talked about for ages, but I think people are really interested and really intrigued by the whole concept of going to therapy. I got a lot of questions asking like, are you still in therapy? How did you find your therapist? Also quite interesting, what's the biggest lesson you took from therapy? It's something that I really regret not starting a long time ago, because I've found it very, very helpful in not only kind of helping me through problems, but in really learning so much about myself and uncovering parts of my personality that I wasn't really letting shine through, if that makes any sense. One of the real kind of discoveries that I had through therapy is that I'm such a stronger person than I have ever given myself credit for, and that I'm willing to stand up for myself so much more than I've ever let myself, kind of thing. I'm not currently seeing a therapist. I stopped just as lockdown was kicking in, so about a year ago, because the therapist I was going to, she transferred over to Zoom sessions, which I think is what has mostly happened for people. I really didn't want to have my sessions in my own home. Like, the thing that I liked about my sessions was that I would go to a place and I would sit in this tiny little room and spill it all out and kind of cry my guts out and spill everything out onto the table, and then I would leave it there, and I wasn't dumping it on anyone else's doorstep. It wasn't in my own home, and it almost felt like I was removing it from this happy life that I have with Adam kind of thing. And the thought of kind of having those very heavy, difficult conversations in my own home, it just wasn't right for me. A year down the line, like I feel good, like the lessons that I've learned and the confidence that I've gained in myself and stuff has really stuck with me. If you're not in a position to go private, then the NHS does provide options. I'll link some stuff in the description box down below. There's websites that are basically big directories of qualified therapists and counsellors, and you can just sift through by topic that they specialise in, and you basically just find someone that you like the look of. But also, I would say, don't put too much pressure on finding the right one the first time. Everybody I know who's done therapy, which is a large chunk of my friends now actually, pretty much everyone has gone through at least one or two people before they found someone that they felt right. It's really hard to think about what like the biggest lesson was, because it's such a sort of gradual shift that you feel in yourself. But my big thing that I kind of had to deal with and overcome and learn from was boundaries. Feeling kind of confident and strong in your own decisions to protect yourself. If someone is treating you very badly and clearly isn't respecting you or your boundaries and not taking any care of you and kind of mistreating you, then it doesn't matter who they are. You have to take the decisions to protect yourself and look after yourself, and that involves boundaries, which other people very often don't like. People often don't like to see you putting up boundaries because it means they can't continue to take advantage of you in ways that they have been doing. So it can often leave you feeling very guilty and like a bad person, because you're, putting yourself first. So that was something that I really had to work hard at and really kind of change my thinking with, just kind of like generally making yourself a priority. So yeah, it was a big learning experience for me, but I feel like a much stronger person who really believes that I make good decisions. What advice would you give to your 21-year-old self? Get rid of the ombre would probably be a good place to start. It's actually very difficult for me to even remember what was going on at that point. I was so depressed and lonely that I think I've repressed a lot of my early 20s. I was so deeply unhappy. I felt like a bit of a failure because I had to move home after uni, and a lot of my friends had done really impressive degrees and gone straight into really impressive jobs, so I felt like a bit of a failure. I was in a terrible relationship which just left me feeling so unloved and really struggling with body image and eating disorders and stuff at that point. It was just a rough time. So if I could give some advice to my 21-year-old self, it would be patient with your own success, because it takes a long time. Keep plodding on with the freelance work, because that's actually really good. That'll work out nicely. Stop wearing long line tops with cut out shoulders over leggings. That's probably quite solid advice. Wear some shoes other than ballet flats. Me and my friends were talking about this the other day. Why did we only wear ballet flats at that point? Why did we only wear paper thin ballet flats? No matter the occasion, the time of year, the time of day, the rest of your outfit. So maybe wear some other shoes. There's some solid advice for 21-year-old me. And I guess I should probably wrap this up, to be honest. I've spoken so much and I've got half a couple left, but it's absolutely stone cold now, so that's a real shame. Let's end on this one, because I thought this is a hilariously massive question, but it's quite a nice one to think about because it's all about the future. And I feel like that's what everyone's thinking about at the moment, isn't it? To get through the day, because the future is full of promise and the future is full of hugging your family and seeing your mates and going to the pub and laughing till you cry in person with your besties again, and travel. The future is full of good things. So someone asked, what are your plans for the next few years? Travel, house, career, etc. I mean, we've basically all lost a year of our lives this past year. we've basically all been pushed back at least 12 months, if not longer, in terms of like things that we had in mind that we wanted to do. We've all lost a year on the timeline. And I've been thinking about that quite a lot recently in terms of like everyone's milestones have kind of got to shift. Like I always think it's very, very pointless to say, oh, I want to do this by the time I'm 32. I want to do this by the time I'm 35. I want to do this before I'm 40. I think it's really pointless to set number milestones because you just never know what life is going to throw at you. I've been through too many curveballs to still think that planning like that is a good idea. But even so, you still kind of have a rough thing in your mind every so often, don't you? You sort of think, oh, in the next couple of years I want to do this. But it's all just been shoved backwards with an absolute thud. So I suppose the answer is I haven't got a bloody clue. And I'm trying not to let that stress me out too much now. My entire adult life I have walked through blindly on a wing and a prayer. Just to reiterate this, because I probably don't say it enough, I'm just going to reiterate the fact I don't have a freaking clue what I am doing. And I kind of wish that I was one of these people that had a grand master plan, but also at the same time I quite like not knowing. I quite like just kind of going with the flow and seeing what happens. The thing that I would love to do so much, which I've said a million times on here, is write more, and maybe that would be a book or something, I don't know. That's like probably my grand master plan, I suppose. But it's one of those things, isn't it? I think whatever your real dream is, unless you're a super disciplined person, there's just never enough time for it, so it just gets pushed down the list, down and down and down. But I would like to think in the next few years that is something that I will give the time and attention that it deserves. I honestly have no idea. I'm sitting here thinking like, what's something really clever and like inspiring that I can say? Honestly, I have no idea. I think if this year has taught us anything, all I want for the next few years is to be surrounded by people that I love to spend time with, be surrounded by people that make me laugh until I cry, and continue to just be really happy and experiencing life with Adam, and you know, muddling our way through pretending to be grown-ups and just like really appreciating the people around me, I think is my plan for the next few years. And I know that people want to know, like, are you gonna get married? Are you gonna have a baby? Can you see me doing either of those things right now? We'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love filming these coffee breaks. I think they're like my favourite thing to film. Just like sitting back, getting cozy and chatting away. I love it. I can't wait to have a chat with you guys in the comments. So let me know how you are. Let me know your answer to some of these questions. I would love to like hear your thoughts and opinions on all these things that I've been rambling about. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another video.